Place your two side seams together and mark the centre back with a pin. Start attaching the bottom of the casing down, but we're going to leave approximately a 5 centimetre gap at centre back, and this is to allow the elastic to be fed through and joined, and then a label could be placed in that area as well. Stitch just inside the overlocking and finish approximately 2.5 centimetres before centre back so that the gap is left. Attach a large safety pin or a bodkin to the end of your elastic. Start feeding it through the casing, and when you get to a side seam with the seam allowances facing towards you, you might have to open up your seam allowances slightly to manoeuvre the elastic through that area. Feeding the elastic through and pushing it along the elastic so as to straighten out the gathers. Be careful that the end of your elastic doesn't get sucked into your casing. Check that the elastic is not twisted anywhere in the casing. When you are back to the beginning, remove the safety pin and pull both ends out, overlap by about 2 centimetres and stitch the ends together in a square. Pull the elastic to the inside of the casing and adjust the elastic so that the area where the gap is flat. If you were putting a label in, now is the time to place the label in the hole area before sewing up. If you want to insert a label, you can use a scrap of fabric to cut to the size of a label and insert that into your casing. Stitch up the hole, making sure that you are lining up with your previous stitching and making sure that the label stays parallel to the stitching. Hold the side seam that you have just stitched together with your fingers and then flatten out the casing and run your fingers along to the other side seam, and this, if it is not at the other end, then you'll have to work the fabric around on the elastic so that the actual side seam is on the other side of the casing. Stitch in the ditch from the right side of the garment. This is to ensure that the equal amount of elastic is in the front to the back.